Hello, guys. I wanted to sit down briefly and talk about fear and how something that started and grew to save our lives from real or perceived danger and threat has ended up doing the opposite and somehow destroying our lives and keeping our lives small. And I think it's kind of funny how the things that can keep us safe in a moment and in a period of our lives and they serve a purpose can eventually become the things that stop us living at all. And I think we usually don't catch this at its earliest stage. I think a lot of the time we've been living for a while in this protective mode, especially when we go through traumatic big events. We tend to cocoon for a long time, and rightly so. We want to protect ourselves and we want to just stay safe from the outside world and anything that could harm us. But I don't know about you, but sometimes years pass and you realise you've stayed in this cocoon and nothing of any sort of danger has been around you, and you still have been kind of just peeking out of the depths of this safe haven you've created for yourself. And with safety, obviously, that's a privilege to be safe, that's a beautiful thing. But with that excess safety, we stop growing, we stop evolving, we stop stretching ourselves, and those growing pains that we experience are so crucial to our evolution and our becoming. Because also a lot of the time I think we're so focused on what we're going to become, we forget to enjoy the process of becoming. And a lot of the time we live our lives rushing to the finish line of whatever the next thing is that we're trying to achieve and trying to gain. And when we're old, I think we will regret those days, months, and years that we were so eager to rush to the finish line of this next thing, and we forgot to slow down and really take in each moment of each day, not in waiting, not in rushing, not in wishing our lives away for the next best thing, but really sitting in the present moment. Even if that does look like sitting with fear and allowing fear to accompany us for a short period of time while we remind ourselves that we are safe. I was watching a video by Nero Knowledge and he said something which really struck home for me, which was, fear is faith in evil, and how fear and faith are the same thing. When we think about faith, we often think about faith in a really positive light. Faith that everything's going to be okay. Faith in God, faith in our dreams coming true, faith in our relationships, faith in our ability to manifest, faith in ourselves. But fear is faith in everything going wrong. It's worshipping all the bad things that could happen. It's pouring in our sacred, creative energy into all the things we don't want to happen. Fear is no longer, for the most part, saving us from real danger. There'll be the odd occasion, but for the most part, fear now keeps us small and keeps us safe to the point where our safety can begin to suffocate us. And it's an interesting thing because safety is often given this, it's all spoken about in this light of this is the best thing, you know, this is what we want safety. And of course we do. We don't want to be in danger. We don't want to be fighting for our lives out here. But safety now has also become something that stops you living a full life. Safety can look like not sharing yourself with the world. Safety can look like not making friends. Safety can look like not trusting in love. Safety can look like not trying a new hobby, not walking a different way home, not writing and learning about yourself. Safety can look like not working through the things we've been through in life that weigh us down, because it's painful to look at those things. And watching that video has really led me down quite an introspective path, and it's been a very thoughtful couple of days. When fear comes up, and it does come up and it's going to continue to come up, as soon as I can, I've caught it and I've allowed it to be there. But I've also asked myself the question, what would I rather believe? What would I rather pour all of this energy into? Because we spend so much of our precious energy on the things we fear, on our worries, on our anxieties, on the things that drive us insane, the things that keep us up at night. And they're all stories. Most of the time these things are stories that we tell ourselves, that we've been telling ourselves for a lifetime, for years. And these stories do not protect us from bad things happening. It's an illusion. It seems like if we keep thinking about this thing and all the possible things that could go wrong and what we're going to do and how we can stop it and how it's going to feel, and oh my gosh, I'm so worried, it feels like we have control. But it is just an illusion. We do not have any more control than if we felt it. Oh no, this is going to happen, this could happen. And we said, what would I rather believe? Completely flip it. You can flip it to an example is like, oh my gosh, what if I go broke? For example, like, what if I can't afford the basic things in life? And so you wake up every day and you go to sleep every night thinking of all of these things. What if I can't afford? What if I can't afford? What if I can't afford? Your body feels this in a really intense way. This is a very intensely charged thing because financial security is actually very tied to the root chakra. It's very tied to grounding. It's very tied to security. So that's why money is such an important thing and such a sensitive subject for so many people, because it's not just money. It's not just the excess things. It's not just the glamour and the luxury. Money is food. Money is shelter. Money is water. Money is safety. This is the sort of money that people stay up at night worrying about. It's not, oh my gosh, can I afford the newest car? That's not the sort of issues that money brings up for most people. It is just that base level of security. What you have to begin to understand is worrying about that, annoyingly, actually just makes it more likely that these bad things are going to happen in your life. And this, I'm not saying this to add more fear. I'm saying it because if you are emitting a frequency of lack and fear and scarcity, you have to understand that you and the universe and reality are one thing. This is another thing Neuroknowledge was talking about, and it's all really, I've absorbed it all. As you can tell, this is all from memory because I watched the video once and it really, really stuck with me. You are the same thing. So often in reality, it can feel like these things are all happening to us, and some things do happen to us, and this is not to excuse anyone from that ill behaviour and the terrible things they've done, but a lot of the time with most things we are actually in control of how they go. And so instead of going to sleep and waking up thinking, what if I go broke, because it's not actually controlling anything, it's not actually changing the chances of that happening, it's an illusion of control. You have to condition yourself into thinking from the point of being rich, from the point of being financially stable. How does that feel? Because the thought of going broke, that is a very emotionally intense thought. You feel that so deeply, so intensely that it almost consumes you. It feels like it consumes you. And you feel tense, you breathe shallow, your mind is all busy and chaotic, you don't feel safe, all of these things. Instead, you have to ask yourself, what would I rather believe, and what would I rather pour my energy into? Which frequency would I rather go through the world at? Would I rather go through the world thinking about everything that could go wrong at every given moment, feeling broke, feeling terrified of going broke? Or would I rather go through the world emitting a frequency of abundance and joy and security and being secure in myself? Because when we think about having money, like I said before, it's not the money itself that we want. It's the things that that money means to us. For some people that does mean luxury, but I think if you asked a man if he would rather a home and food and water or a Rolex, hopefully most people would say the first option. And that's because it's not to do with the home and the food and the water in itself. It's to do with the feeling that those things give us. And it actually is the same with the watch. It's not to do with the watch itself. It might look really nice. Some people might think that will attract certain people to them. But it's not the watch. It's the feeling that the watch will give us. And it's the feeling that the house will give us. And so the trick is to have the feeling first. The feeling that we want those things to give us. Ironically, we have to have that feeling before those things are in our lives. This is so important because you cannot attract what you are not. You only attract what you are. When you are insecure, you attract people that will mirror that insecurity back to you. Inconsistent people, people who don't commit to you, people who don't give you your time, people who take a long ass time to reply and then they've got you checking your phone like a crazy person. When you are confident in yourself and you're busy and you're organised and you're all about your shit and you're pouring into yourself, you attract abundance. You attract people who want to pour into you because you are pouring into yourself, and everything is just a mirror of our internal state. And I don't want to keep on going for too long, but I just really wanted to touch on why it's so important to really check in on yourself with fear, because fear has been running the show in my life for so long, and that video was such an eye-opener. And you sometimes just have to get sick of your own shit, and ideally you catch it before that point, but sometimes you have to get so sick of your own shit and the way that you're worrying and stressing about things that aren't serving you, aren't actually protecting you. You're going around for hours, days, weeks about this thing. You're growing grey, like physically grey, because your life force energy is being zapped. And he also said a really interesting point. I've forgotten, what did he say? It's like quite a striking point that a lot of people might be repelled by, but it was like, did I write it down? Did I write it down somewhere? fear is devil worship. And he also went on to explain how there's Lucifer, there's Satan, there's the devil. And yeah, I would really recommend watching his video because the way he breaks it down is incredible. But I just wanted to give my own sort of take and perspective on it, and how this really planted seeds for me and opened up my eyes again to this knowledge, and reminded me to really check myself and check where I'm allowing energy to be leaking, because we are all constantly manifesting. And this is the thing, I think this is more common knowledge now, but manifestation isn't something that you just either do or you don't do. You're either good at it or you're not good at. We're all master manifestors. The thing is, a lot of us are spending our time unconsciously manifesting things. So the things that we worry about, the things we fear about, the things that make our jaw tight, we either manifest consciously from a place of, well, from a conscious place of getting intricate and exact and precise with what we want to manifest into our lives, and really embodying that frequency and carrying that as much as we can into our days. Things are going to come up, and it's about how quickly you can get back to that place. Or we are unconsciously manifesting. Our fears will keep projecting themselves into our reality until we realize that life isn't happening to us. We are life, we are the universe, we are the creator of our own lives. And everything outside of us is a reflection of our internal state. And yeah, it's really important that we, as much as we can, when we notice ourselves shifting, sometimes you've got to feel it, but when you can gather yourself, bring yourself back and ask yourself, what would you rather feel?